replace Horace as Grandmaster.
Anyway.
Or Chapter Master.
Yeah. And the connection seems stable. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is a Friday, which means it is time for Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9000.
I'm so excited.
As always, hosted by SneakyDevil, joined by Max, Atin, and Nosehair.
Hello.
Hello. I can only hope the deliciousness of animal crackers will outweigh the horror we're about to subject ourselves to.
I don't want to hear anything about torture, Atin.
No?
Okay.
You guys have probably heard me snickering to myself the last 3 minutes.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I can't stop laughing at it. Does anyone want to take a guess as to what I'm currently holding in my hands that cost me $4.50 on Amazon?
A dildo?
No.
A Gundam dildo.
No.
Well, how did you not see that coming?
No, I knew it was coming. I just didn't know if it would be you or Atin to go for the low-hanging.
It was both of us. Well,
no, you guys remember?
It was Sneaky's fault because he grabbed the low-hanging fruit and I just took a bite out of it.
Indeed, indeed.
So Sneaky is Eve and you're Adam. Good to know.
Yes.
All right.
You guys remember the reminiscing we did at the end of Tuesday's stream?
Sure.
Yes.
That book I took the hit for?
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
I'm holding its physical publication in my hand right now.
Why?
Because it was through a different seller. This guy, I don't know how he's self-published. The font is like
did he get published?
8.
I need.
No, Atin. He has an international ISBN.
Oh.
This number is tied to his book from here on out.
So. Okay, I need you, Max. Flip. Is it still like error? Is it still filled with grammar errors?
I haven't read through it yet. I only just cracked the envelope open.
Oh boy.
But Atin, this is like 8-point font.
Max, can you send me a pic? Did the cover art change at all?
No.
Oh no!
Please send Max. I need you to take a picture and send it to us so we can drop it in the
drop it in the stream. Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that.
Anyway,
that's a lot of effort right now. But he actually, I don't even think he scanned the picture in properly. It appears that he took a picture with a camera and then managed to crop out part of the top of the title.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's like Wilkes instead of witches. Wilkes Warrior. Oh, by the way, it's still not fixed. It's still witches is plural and sort of the possessive.
Oh, good. I'm so glad nothing was fixed.
So.
Anyway.
No, the grammar errors are all still here. Okay.
So, because it is Friday the 13th, and because it is, in fact, October, I thought we should start off with some Left 4 Dead. Zombies, don't you know?
Oh, boy.
So this is Mass Dead Effect, keeping true to the shit-naming themes that most fanfiction authors have, and where they take the name of one fanfiction and they smash the name of another fanfiction into them. So this is by HellKing666. I think we've seen this author before. Or I have seen this author before at the minimum. Humanity has fallen to the green flu, yet rose up to face the stars. Watch as the infected fight the Turians and kick their ass. Make friends with outcasts of the council, and show the Reapers that even if they are a mistake, they are the ones... They are one that drags them to hell, as they once thought themselves part of it. What?
Where did you get it?
What the fuck is this?
I'm sorry. My brain was trying to fix it, Max.
Sneaky. I think you and I have run into this author before.
That's why we need multiple. That's why we always need multiple people to read this.
I definitely think we definitely have seen this author before.
I don't think it was on stream though. I think it was just like separate. SAO Twisted Paths, Boy Elf, Millions of Zero, and Harry Potter and the Big Glowy Stone. I'm pretty sure you read out those summaries
Massively
before.
slaughtered, lazy days.
Maggots fester.
Maybe?
A Ghost Master and Worm. What the fuck is Ghost Master?
Isn't it
Start
that
dictating.
the one where you go around as a ghost and possess people? Or the Japanese game for the PS2? No,
I
that
think I
was
knew about that. I think I've heard about that.
No.
that was
it's a
Psy
puzzle
something.
It's a
Never mind.
puzzle strategy game for the PC back
Okay.
Anyway,
in
we're here for
03.
trash, so
How do you?
I think maybe we saw them for their Deadpool story. The Deadpool worm story with a.
I think it was for the.
I don't think it
No,
was on stream. I think it was between the two of us when we were looking for Vic.
Well, no, like a lot of this guy's stuff was published way back in 2013.
look.
Used to still
This
chill
is
in chat
completely
reading summary.
irrelevant. Let's read
No,
trash.
Atin, it is not. We are reminiscing. Shut your mouth. Anyways.
Anyway, let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking for various fictions and blah blah blah, Left 4 Dead, Mass Effect, alternate history, suddenly it hit me. Wouldn't it be awesome if a Charger was the fight next to Rex, a jockey chatting with Morden, a witch
Okay, except
kissing
they don't-
Samara?
They don't chat, for God's sake.
Okay, no, hold on. Why do you go, hey, Left 4 Dead and Mass Effect? I wonder how a witch smooching Samara would look. That's not really like the first or fifth thing that pops into mind.
That I got news for you. Mass Effect and
Wait. Is this supposed to assume like the green flu took over the entire Earth and they evolved far enough to regain civilization and advance even further?
Yes.
yes, that is
Huh.
part of the inherent thought process here.
I mean, like, I'm fine with that, but I'm not liking how it's being presented right now. Like,
I mean, for me, it's a huge because like, now granted, it had only been a few years, but I mean, we've seen people be affected by the green flu for a very long time, and they've never shown an inkling of changing their thought. Like,
Okay, no, correction. We did technically have them get smarter. Canonically,
This is true.
they were technically considered smarter than before.
but that's smarter, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they were any more logical.
They were
or
more
capable
tactical,
of
but they
Well,
did not have their own personalities.
No,
and
no.
stuff like
Even
that.
if they did, like it's the same thing. This is a problem that I see often with people who are trying to write inhuman intelligence. Like, for example, scientists are saying now octopus and dolphins might be as intelligent as humans. But there's no reason for them to go make tools. They use their intelligence in other ways. Their intelligence is angled at different things. Like, just because someone or something is as smart as us doesn't mean they're going to do the same thing with the intelligence that they have that we would.
Yeah.
So just because the infected might suddenly be as smart as humans doesn't mean they're gonna go off and be like, oh, I'm gonna go make some tools. And
well,
rocket
no.
ships.
Well, no, Sneaky, but they might still, they're still baseline humans. Might be like, oh, I remember this thing. Guess I'll just go make it again. Sorry,
Yes.
Sneaky, but I can argue. Here's the thing, Sneaky. I can totally argue that, yeah, the infected would start doing the same thing humans did because humans are nothing if not incredibly stubborn and stupid.
Yes.
Regardless of how inefficient it might be,
You could
they'll do
certainly
it again.
argue
Fuck.
that
Like-
angle. However, that is like the only angle you could argue at it from is like, oh, they didn't completely lose their humanity and over time their bodies got used to the green flu or something. Or whatever, and then they, were as smart as humans. But if they're going to
Granted.
argue like, oh, they became drop dead stupid because the virus ate their brain, and now they're smart again because they evolved. Question mark. Question mark.
Well, no, I'm not saying I'm right, but it was my understanding that the flu didn't remove. It didn't actually make them stupid. What it did was it made anyone who was affected by the flu think anyone who didn't have the flu was a horrible monster and they needed to die. And it made them go berserk.
No, that's no. What it is? Okay, so makes them sick. They're all still human. They're just very sick people. The issue is, for some reason, their bodies start decaying, even though they're still alive, and it heightens their aggression to the point of, oh hey, that person's not sick. Fuck them up.
I think
Not
it
sure
was
why.
that the green flu itself was like aggressively replicating in the body, which is where we get the necrosis from, which is why they still die though if they're like shot in the heart or something, because their body actually dies then, but like the
Right.
parts of the body will like start to like be eaten by the flu itself to continue reproduction of the flu.
Yeah.
Um,
And the specials are sudden forced mutations, which is a bit odd. Like, and keep in mind, and the AI reflects this behavior in that the specials do still retain a good amount of intelligence.
I'm not saying
The
they
AI
don't, but
has
there's
been
well, you could certainly say that the intelligence was altered.
that's what I was about to
yeah,
say.
but they still
There's a difference
retain a
between
good bit of it.
animal cunning. Like wolves are incredibly smart, and they use actual tactics, but they're not making human level conscious decisions about it. It's just something they do. So that could easily be the case for the special effects.
From what we do know, that of canon, beyond just projection of and hypotheticals and blah blah blah. Right. What we do know of canon is that the green flu makes them enraged. It makes the body create chemicals, or it does something to the brain, or something. But the end goal is that they become aggressively enraged.
Yes.
And that they try to spread the virus and kill anyone that they can't spread the virus to, which for some reason they instinctually know. Now, we aren't given anything beyond that. But we do know from how the AI do behave, the hunters are used as opportunists, the chargers do go for death charges, the jockeys will try to pull you to a witch, smokers will try to pick you off.
Like I said, I'm not saying they aren't intelligent.
No, I'm just laying out what we do know, what we can consider canon beyond conjecture for the green flu. Because obviously we're going to have to approach this story in a way that's like, okay, is what they're saying making sense?
Right.
I just gotta go down and give Sue the password. Alright, so Atin, you start reading. Max, you chime in with conjecture because you're better at that than I am. I'm gonna have to go do some house watching errands. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Starting with the author's note. I was looking through various fictions one day when I found out there were no crossovers between Left 4 Dead and Mass Effect. That's probably for a good reason, but okay. When I thought about some of the alternative histories of Earth in Mass Effect, it suddenly hit me. Wouldn't it be awesome if a Charger was to fight next to Rex? Okay, nope, Sneaky. Already read that one. Any ideas are appreciated, plus any pairings of different infected and some aliens from Mass Effect will be possible. Another thing is what infected will take the place of which humans in the game, whichever and whenever they may have been born. Enjoy the story. Bzz. If you are listening to this and understand it, then I am dead. And you did it. Sorry, mean it that way. Killing me is a good thing. I'm sorry for what you must be feeling now. I will explain the situation as best as I can. My name is Arnold Rouse. Was the lead scientist into the research of the infected. The infection had spread to even further parts of the world. The military were not used to some of the strange talents of the special infected. They were swarmed. Over the next 20 years, civilians had tried to stay alive for as long as they could. You probably know this depending on your lives before. Fortunately, nowhere they could go could escape the infected. They had been overrun, especially since specials had been producing more lately. Eventually, this place became a refuge for the last of the uninfected. All biologists, scientists, microbiologists, name it, the place had it, but the infected had an inbuilt radar to find humans. They found this place, despite it being in the middle of a desert. Over the course of 8 years being here, however, we tried to develop a cure, we worked, we tested, we failed. But then we found a way. Many protested, of course, calling it inhumane and disgusting. It was debated between everyone for a good few months, and then they found us. Clang, clang. That's them. Hurry up. I know. Wait, for a second. They broke in a matter of seconds, cutting through defenses like butter. Many people died, and now there is only 3 of us. If any of them are with you, please don't be harsh to them. It was my idea to go through with it. Sobbing, please calm down, Natalia. It's the only thing we can do right now. We developed the cure to curb the animal instincts which drove you to kill. Unfortunately, well, you probably know now, we also couldn't spread it to the common infected because we could only affect the virus through the unique DNA within the special's blood. We injected it into our own bloodstream, and we are waiting for you. Oh my god, how much of this is going to be this? I'm sorry to put even more weight on your shoulders, but now you need to go out there to administer the cure to the other special. The common will ignore you. Fortunately, just get the special to bite you, and the cure will take effect. After approximately 5 hours, the green flu will cease to make them do things they wish not to. It may take a year, maybe 5, maybe a decade, but then humanity will be back on its feet again. Yeah, right, it hardly sounds alive, let alone human. I'm not sure why Julius is all capitalized. Do you have any idea what they could be going through? Shut up. Sorry about that. Look, you're still human, not the monsters, so get that in your head. You will have all your memories of before you were infected, and at the worst, you will only have fragments of your life after you were. And as for us, we chose to do this. You need not mourn over us. That's a motherfucking tank, man. I don't want to be torn apart by one of those fuckers. Then by all means, ask him nicely. I'm sure he'd make do by just beating you to death. Fuck you. Also, I should tell you about our families. We found out that my mother and sister, as well as Julius's brother and Natalia's daughter, are specials. What?
I'm not sure this guy understands.
At first, I thought he understood how the flu worked. I really did.
But
I am unsure now. Because at first it seemed like, okay, insofar as anyone can understand, because there's not a lot out there to understand, he seems to understand what the flu is about.
But for some reason, the idea is get someone to bite you and the cure will take effect, and the green flu will, like... No. What? I don't...
No, so they found a way to make the special infected act. They found a way to stop them from being overly violent and aggressive. And so I guess these scientists have injected the cure into themselves, so then when the specials...
An issue here is that the specials don't attack each other.
Yeah,
they coordinate with each other.
that.
This appears to be going under the assumption that all the specials will start attacking each other. So, I'm not quite sure what's going on here.
I mean, I guess once they got their higher reasoning capabilities back, they could bite the other specials? like, presumably, if they're intelligent enough to listen to this password, this I don't know why I said password. I really have no idea. This audio log. Presumably, they're intelligent enough to then go, oh, well, if the cure's in me, I guess I can bite them or something.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. Anyway, in order they are Gemma Rose, Celia Rose, Jamie Forrest, and Rachel Carr. I won't be able to say goodbye to them because I have an earlier form of the cure inside me, so I won't come back with it. There's a chance, however, that Julius and Natalia will become specials, but in case they don't, tell their families as well as mine, we love them. So I guess... Okay, so they found a way to stop the cure from propagating, which that's kind of a big deal. Also, I don't know how many specials there can be. Like, I don't know how many common they're infected there can be when these people have been in the desert for 8 years.
I don't know.
Like, now obviously we don't know how old all of those infected are in the games, but by Left 4 Dead 2, they're looking pretty rough.
Yeah.
Even assuming this takes place immediately after Left 4 Dead 2, in 8 years... Now, I don't know about the specials. Were the specials also affected by the rapid necrosis?
No, but they did have pustules. The smoker looked like it had, like, some sort of tongue cancer, basically, in that its, like, upper body basically started sprouting tongues everywhere.
Yeah, I know, and
the hunter had pustules on his arms, from what we could see.
Not as many.
Not as many.
The charger's fairly self-explanatory.
Yeah, the charger's self-explanatory. The boomer's self-explanatory. The jockey looked fine.
The jockey just looks like it has
aside from becoming a hunchback, the jockey looked fine.
The spitter has that weird neck growth.
Yeah. And also the spitter is kind of, unfortunately, the spitter and the boomer, and maybe even fucking hell the smoker at its rate of tongue growth, look to be, failed mutation, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I mean,
in terms of long term.
But relatively speaking, there's nothing really wrong with the witch, besides being an albino and having freakishly long fingers.
Yeah. The witch, the hunter, the jockey would really be the only one, and maybe the charger would really be the only ones that would be long-lasting.
Well, no, I mean, the witch, the charger, the hunter, and I mean, as messed up as the tank is, it appears fairly stable.
Yes, but it doesn't have a lower jaw.
I'm not saying that... I mean, not having a lower jaw doesn't impede it from continuing to exist.
It does impede it from eating, though, which is necessary.
Yeah.
Because it's not dead, remember.
That's true, that's true.
And the other thing is that tanks have a shit ton of muscle, so they need to eat a lot. Which, I mean, I don't know where they're getting that energy from.
Yeah.
But, you know, clearly, tanks are not going to be long-term sustainable.
Yeah.
Boomers go off at the slightest pricking of their skin.
No, it's not this. Shoving them doesn't set them off.
Pricking, bro.
Okay,
well,
no.
but...
It takes a couple of bullets unless you're just using a shotgun point blank. In which case,
Yeah, I was
Well,
saying my point is it takes like I'm not saying it takes a lot of force, but it does take some force to make them pop.
Still, that doesn't give it points for long-term stability.
Oh heavens, no! I'm just saying.
I
like,
can't, judging by the corroded nature of the spitter's face, I would assume that
Oh
the
yeah, the spitters aren't gonna last.
spitters are a short-term thing as well. But yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so I have to go buy a card for my grandmother's birthday, so I will be back as quick as I can.
7:30. Why is it card at 7:30?
I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll take over the reading, and let's keep marching forward, I suppose. Max, you with me here?
I'm sorry, I'm currently reading through the comic because the comic is where we got most of our info on the green flu.
Yes.
Like, how carriers work, because they've got the gene for immunity on the father's side.
Yeah.
Like, and also, the mention of the virus changes daily. It mutates so quickly, they can't feasibly make a cure for it, to be honest.
Well, yeah. It
Sometime,
sounds a lot like the rhinovirus on that aspect, then.
well, because I'm reading through it, and one of the scientists just mentioned, yeah, sometimes it's airborne, sometimes it's not. We don't know. It picks what it wants to do.
Which definitely gives me credence to my source of necrosis theory that I said. If it's the virus is producing copies of itself at such a rapid rate that it's basically cannibalizing the body in a macro, and certainly gives me credence on that aspect. Such a low turnout today. I'm really sad. Anyway.
And that guy just got fucked by a hunter. Wow. This is a very well drawn comic. Completely free, by the way.
So what have we?
Anyway.
Can you summarize what we've learned so far from this story for me?
Guy made a cure that the special infected have to fight person infected with the cure themselves. That's about all I got from the story.
Oh, okay. So,
like, they make a cure, okay. They injected it into themselves, okay. But special infected have to bite them because the common are just gonna ignore them. Okay, but why would the specials attack?
Like the only infected that actually bites people is the hunter.
Hunter doesn't even bite people. He rips into them. There's no biting involved.
Fair enough.
Like, the only one who would feasibly have any kind of biting, I think, would be the hunter or the smoker. But
Smoker
they have
really
no need.
can't. The tongue's taking up too much room.
That's why I said feasibly.
Yeah.
They could try.
Well,
Probably
no,
cut their own
feasibly,
tongue off.
the only two people that actually have usable jaw. Oh, sorry, there's 3 special infected that still have usable jaws. The jockey, the witch, and the hunter. I mean, I guess the boomer could, but a boomer biting things? Maybe. Anyway. Alright, so we got some plot holes in the transmission method. So what part did we get to? Did we finish off the transmission?
Yeah, he finished off the transmission. So we'd be starting at the video played again in the background for just before you got back and Atten apparently walked off.
Yep. The video
Sweet.
played again in the background. The computer had a bloody handprint on it, now dried on the heat of the monitor. Why is that a comma? The room was like something out of a horror movie. I would say semicolon there, actually, surprisingly. No? Colon, maybe? I think colon actually works best. Two bodies were on the floor, ripped apart with limbs scattered around the room, which thankfully it was dark enough to not see the scene easily. The only lighting was from the monitor as it played on a loop, showing four huddled figures in the room, silent except for the occasional cough and rasping breath to be heard, and looking down at the floor in a circle formation. The first one wore a black hoodie with combat trousers with tape over his clothing, holding down the puffier parts of the hoodie. Oh god, fucking, are we really going to describe the special infected? His face was covered by a hood with only lower jaw showing, sharp teeth end from his mouth, fingers in his sharpened hands, and blah blah claws. What is this guy's problem with using periods? He doesn't. Second figure had boils, blah blah blah, it's the fucking boomer. Oh, sorry, it's the smoker. The third was female with a tattered lab coat, blah blah blah, it was a witch. Fourth figure was blah blah blah, tank. You know what they look like. Who the fuck is fucking messaging? Discord went down. Ah, fucking Christ. Well, that explains why I'm the only one talking. Alright, hold on, people. I gotta make sure. Alright. Set up. Alright, well, it looks like everyone is down right now with Discord, which is our main source of audio transmission. So I will continue on and pretend that I am completely under my own power. The story must go on. Alright. Fucking, my phone's not even working. God Christ. Alright, I'm just gonna keep moving on and pretending like this is all going exactly. What the fuck did I just press? This is all going exactly as planned. Waiting for phone to send message. Fuck my everything. Blah blah blah. They did not know how long they sat there, listening to the last words of Arnold Rose, coughing from the smoker. Hunter looked at him. Are you alright? Just normal for a smoker. What's your story? Regular guy. bet you by 4 years, probably beat you by 4 years. Garage in Vegas. Smoking. I used to smoke, I'm a smoker now, blah blah blah. Sound logic, what about you two? Came back to life as someone who ate too many people and you're chatting. Well, yeah, what do you expect? My name's Jack Harris, Tammy Cobb, Natalie Carr, Kinsley. Oh, why did Natalie... Oh, okay, the cure apparently turned them into zombies. Something up there, in that effect. Yeah, whatever. Natalia? Natalia, yeah, there we go. Blah, blah. I can know what an elephant is, blah, blah, blah. Hope my friends are specials. But they aren't dead, though. That's... He's making the assumption that all the special infected and the infected are actually zombies. Like, genuine, grade A, I died and came back as a zombie zombies. They're not. We talked about this earlier. So having dead jokes, travel the world, restore people, blah blah blah. Looked at the large figure. What if they don't accept the change and think they're monsters? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And I will cross it. Then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I will cross it this time. He smiled in a humorless. He smiled in a humorless. I do the anger sometimes. As the others gave him a questioning look at the giant and they all walked into the hallway, Timmy then realized something. Wait, big guy, who are you? There was a slight pause and they all looked around. Me, the tank, asked as they walked out into the desert. I'm a man who had a handful of medals, a knee full of shrapnel. My name was William Overbeck, but you can just call me Bill. Oh boy. Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Gord, stop.
Matt, and you're still muted.
Boy, that wasn't fun.
How about that ending?
Hmm.
How about that ending of I don't understand how the green flu works, and so I just resurrected from the dead someone who was immune. Because I don't understand how fucking canon works.
You know, more than that, fuck you for for making Bill's sacrifice actually cheap.
That too.
Like, it'd be one thing if you rewrote it so that the sacrifice didn't actually happen. But no, I'm assuming it did.
He made the bridge joke, so yeah. I can only assume that yes, he is cheapening the sacrifice of Bill because he made the bridge joke, which means probably, yeah. Also, fucking Christ. What the hell is going on with my phone right now? It is not able to receive text messages at all. Sorry, send text messages. Like, I can get text messages. I can't fucking send them. It's making me angry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna run downstairs super quick.
I'm gonna go bring up the next story.
Cool. Make sure you link it for us so that we can catch up. Back in a bit.
Yep. Alright. So, fucking, let's bring up the next story, because that was... Let's do more Left 4 Dead. As always, oh god fucking damn it. Discord is still down. I suppose I'll have to put it into the YouTube. To the YouTubes. And eventually get around to putting it into Discord whenever Discord stops eating dick. Gets back on track of being a audio medium. And text-based medium. That'd be great. Discord, get your shit together. As I was saying, who the fuck's messaging me? As I was saying, let us continue on to the next Left 4 Dead story. Shattered Perspectives. By 4! The green flu has spread across the world, turning the dead into living. God fucking... Why does no one understand how this actually works? Christ! A young Canadian woman survives both the cold and the dead to try and help an injured girl. Infected while retrieving supplies, she finds her life and perspective of things utterly shattered. Now fighting to retain her humanity, she seeks out her friends, hoping that they are still alive. Already we're off to a fantastic start in which the author doesn't know the canon they're writing for. And while there is many things about canon that you as an author can tinker about when you're writing a fan fiction, typically tinkering about with the key part of the fan fiction that makes it a fiction of a fandom tends to nullify the fact that it is a fan fiction of a fandom. Because the key thing that sets Left 4 Dead apart from every other zombie genre in existence, more or less, besides the Resident Evil games we don't talk about, is the fact that the zombies aren't fucking dead. They are still people who are alive and trying to rip you apart. Because reasons. Now, if you cannot get that one key aspect that makes Left 4 Dead Left 4 Dead and not, I don't know, 28 days later, why the fuck are you writing fanfiction for Left 4 Dead?
What the fuck is going on?
This piece of shit here, in their summary, thinks that the green flu kills people and then brings them back to life as zombies.
Okay, is there any reason you haven't put the link in the
This
chats,
Discord's
or...
still fucked.
Oh, right.
Right, drag the Lord of Nose Hairs back into this.
Alright,
Okay,
I think
Discord is
Discord
no longer
stopped.
fucked. Yep, I have linked it into the Discord found below in the panels and the description, depending if you're on Twitch or on YouTube. Let's get to it. I have already ranted my rant about why this fucking thing is fucking stupid already, but let's keep going.
No, yeah,
The
it's trash.
deep freeze. The red door slammed shut, and a bolt was quickly latched as it suddenly thundered under an impact. The roars outside.
I've literally been silently screaming about this entire story, by the way.
I know. The roars outside and heads bashing on the door made me cringe as I slid down the door and rubbed my arms. It was just the four of us against those things. Oh, how original! 4 survivors! The infected, those vile creatures that now seemed everywhere, screaming and slamming on whatever made noise or caught their attention. That's really... what the fuck is that sentence even doing there?
Who knows?
Cody growled at the noise outside. Shut up, damn it. That'll make the infected stop doing things? Scream at them! He moved to where the bars that allowed what little view outside and cocked his pump shotgun and fired a few blasts, making me cover my ears, splattering the heads and upper torso of the undead that hammered the door. I sighed as I looked up at him once my ears stopped ringing. Cody, that's just going to piss them off and keep us up all night. Give it a break. We're alive. Well, at least that's a realistic reaction.
I mean, given this is the Left 4 Dead universe, yeah, we basically just survived the day. Let's be happy with that. Is a pretty average reaction for it.
I groaned weakly as I checked my weapon, a simple 9mm pistol, and I shook my head as I took a cloth to gently clean it and forced myself to stand, went into a corner and sat down. Wow, that is... no. Do not do that. That was like 7 different actions in the span of a second.
Discord's starting to fuck up again.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm starting to get some issues in other chats. I think Discord's about ready to start kicking my ass off now. Again.
10 out of 10.
I think someone at the server area is fucking up.
Someone needs to go turn it off and back on.
Cody looked away.
That implies that the Discord creators know how to turn it on and off again.
Jessica, those things almost tore us apart, Cody yelled, to which I looked away and then down as I stopped cleaning my gun. Easy on her. We've all been stressed. Terrence rubbed his forehead. Cody, sit down and breathe, okay? Wait, look. Those things almost tore us apart. She's being glad that they're still alive. So clearly, you've lasted long enough to realize sound draws them to you. Clearly, you've also been in a couple buildings at this point, which means you know what happens when you fire guns inside an enclosed space. Her telling you to quit that shit is completely reasonable, and you being a bitch about it is not. Also, who the fuck uses semicolons in their speech?
Valve characters.
OCs
Where
apparently.
do you see a semicolon?
You'll see it. And Cody looked away and walked over to the other woman, his sister Alexis.
I just saw it.
Fucking... to tend to her. I didn't really pay attention as I went back to my gun and winced a bit as I tried to stand up and take off my bag and start digging inside. They're making them do like 2 million actions in one sentence, and it just does not work for the flow. Was anyone hurt? Terrence shook his head. I'm good. Cody sighed. Alexis twisted her ankle. It's swelling. That charger almost got her, semicolon. This is your fault, Jessica. He shot me a glare as he turned to face me. You said that building was clear. It was Cody, I yelled back. It's not my fault it broke the door down while we were gathering supplies. Be thankful it wasn't a tank. All we need is that monster of a creature storming inside. I trailed off, looking away as tensions died down, distant as I thought about my first experience with them. Oh boy, you guys ready for some flashbacks? All fucking ready?
No, but I just want to say, fuck Cody. This is like the most unlikable, unreasonable asshole I've ever had to see in a story. And I'm friends with you, Sneaky.
I know.
Like, fucking that
I would
that
have
building
fucking
was
shot
clear.
him
It's
by
like
now.
I hate that. Like you said, the building was clear. It was, but it broke the door down. I'm sorry. He was there to see it break the door down. Apparently, why is he bitching at you for the building suddenly becoming unclear?
It's
fact,
like her. It's like her declaring the building clear somehow makes the building actually clear.
Yeah, and
No, I mean,
again,
these are
she
well. Keep in
she
mind
mentions
for
it broke the door down, implying that this is, probably just a one-story building of some kind. So it just came in through the front door.
Well, I mean,
Like,
not only that.
to-
This is clearly implying this is either at the end of the first day or at the end of the week or something. So they've had experience with these creatures before, right? So they know
yeah,
that you always have to stay aware. Because if you're not aware, you're gonna get fucked by something that crawled up on you. And so him blaming her for him not paying attention, I would have shot him.
well,
he-
keep in mind that these people don't have military training, so clear to them. Just playing devil's advocate, they probably just like, oh hey, everything's clear now, guys.
I mean,
But these people clearly are not the best at understanding
Yeah.
things.
they are the best
Yeah.
at video games.
I mean, if
They
Cody's
don't
so
even know how
butthurt,
to aim
why
correctly.
didn't he just stand guard? Then they
Exactly.
wouldn't have had to. They'd have known the charger was there before it even got to the door. But no, then he can't be self-righteous, and we can't have our main character get some sort of development, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you don't even need the fucking dick character for that, and it's like, the problem I see with authors and OCs is that I always see some sort of dick character included into stories, especially stories like this where it's like, oh, there needs to be a party. Okay, well, one of them's going to be the asshole. It's like, alright, that's great, except assholes who don't know how to control themselves being assholes tend to get the party killed. And so if this is like anything besides the first day, I wouldn't expect them to last long.
Holy shit. Stiggy,
What?
you and I have run into this story before.
No.
I knew I recognized this. Yeah, I recognize this. I'm like, this all seems like very familiar. Then, like, the flashback, and I'm like, oh my god, we've read this.
No.
Looked at this. Yeah, you and I have looked at this independently way back when.
Okay, I thought you said we covered this, and I was like, no, we
No,
didn't cover
no,
this.
you and I personally.
Yeah.
looked-
Yes. I think we ranted about the same exact things, too. Anyway, blah, 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 librarian. I was in university studying to become a librarian. What kind of fucking librarian needs a degree?
No, that actually is a thing. The
Do
library science degree. I don't think you need a degree, or well, no, maybe you do. You might actually need a degree to get certified. Huh. Alright
a
then.
master's degree? Okay, apparently, yeah, you need a fucking master's degree to become a librarian these days. Go fucking figure.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Alright. Alright.
Not expecting that.
No. Was not expecting that. Boy, oh boy. So blah 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 happened so quickly, people were running and attacking other people. Blah blah blah, they were running after me. I grabbed a lamp and swung at them. The skull splattered and rained rancid blood and gray matter everywhere. Okay, look. You are a self-admitted girl who is studying to become a librarian. So clearly not the jock type or the type to go fucking pump some iron at the gym. You are not physically capable of splattering someone's head with a lamp.
Edgy much?
Now, admittedly, could you crack their skull and drop them? Sure. Depending on the lamp. But literally hitting them so hard, their skull splatters and blood and gray matter goes everywhere. Now,
I mean, if they're basing this off the Left 4 Dead engine, yeah, I mean, I guess.
if they're basing this off the Left 4 Dead engine, yes, then I would suppose so. However, all four people were actually quite strong. Like, Bill was shown doing exercises. Francis was a biker, so he got into fights constantly. Zoe was some sort of athletic, wasn't she?
No, she literally was just like the college girl. But she's like a... I guess you could say she's pretty strong, seeing as she was a cop. Or, well, trained to be a cop.
Yeah, okay, so, you know, so she had some sort of athletic standard. And then, fucking, we got Lois, who, I don't know.
Lewis.
He might have
He's
fucking,
black.
he, God fucking damn it.
No, as in, well, he did do a lot of training, he said.
Yeah, I
Like,
was
he
gonna
went to
say,
the gym
from what it sounded like, he sounded like that kind of guy who goes from, I don't know, 9 to 5 job and then goes to the gym every weekend or something. He sounds like that stereotypical, you know, person, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
But, anyway, so all those people were clearly at some level exercising. Are we supposed to believe that as a librarian you went out and pumped some iron every single day? I don't know, just, you know. Anyway, blah blah blah, I killed someone, blah blah blah, panic attack, blah blah blah, excusing it, ran into the group I was with, Canada, didn't have lots of people, so not as many infected. It was even worse, blah blah blah, the screaming runner, the Hulk of muscle, my friends call the tank, didn't know if anyone was alive. Blah blah blah, very cold. Blah blah blah, cold, blah blah blah. Checking for a gun, teeth clattering. Okay, if you guys don't have some sort of fire going on, and if it's in the middle of winter in fucking Canada,
You're dying.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure this person realizes that.
Like, it's freezing cold even in fucking New York. You think it's not gonna be freezing cold in fucking Canada? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, seriously.
Blah, blah, blah. Safe place, safer place. Blah, blah, blah. None of us can hotwire anything. Cody growled. This isn't good. Easy, Cody. We're gonna get out of here. Blah, blah, blah. Conflict. Blah, blah, blah. Quest. God, blah, blah, blah. Cody continues to be a little bitch. Blah, blah, blah. Unbolting door. They're going out there. Infirmary. Blah, blah, blah. They're fucking talking in the same paragraph. Blah, 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 blah. I'm just so fucking done with this already. I was done with this when I read the fucking summary.
I was gonna say, you seem pretty much fucking done with this story right now.
That's because he pretty much fucking was.
Just, you know, blah, 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 swallowing the water, blah, 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 they found some supplies, blah, 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 there's a pharmacy over there, oh no, we've been ambushed, run away, got growled at, blah, 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 infected, were rushing at us, I blanked out, tried to move my hand, took aim at me, smoke fly from the barrel, okay, so Terrence probably saw her get bit, and he's like, alright, gotta shoot her in the face. Which, I mean, fair enough?
It's not the worst decision in the world to make.
Let's see, chapter 2, we got, blah, 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 screaming, you know, she's a witch? Yeah, she was a
Is
witch.
she?
Yeah, she turned into a witch.
Okay. That's cool.
Also, apparently the director is a thing in this, and is,
We all know how good friends you are with the director, Sneaky.
yeah. Apparently the director is in this as well, and it's some sort of, like, hyper-evil gestalt consciousness or something. So, the two of you know Aragon, right? No?
Are
Yes?
you implying we don't, since we've talked about it so much?
Dude, fucking give me a break, man. I don't remember this shit. I don't remember who knows what.
Alright, fair enough.
The next story we're going to cover is Aragon and the Half-Breed, which probably involves either a half-breed elf or a half-breed dragon. Either way, I can only see poor things occurring from this.
I only see death and destruction from this.
Yeah.
Aragon and the Half-Breed. It's been 30 years since Aragon and Saphira have left Iglesia and have been teaching the new generation of dragon riders. Aragon is finally getting into the groove of things when Arya?
Elf bitch.
Elf bitch. Good enough. Contacts him with a warning.
That works.
Their next student is a bit strange. Why is my...
You okay?
Okay. Yeah, my tablet was vibrating, so I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
Okay.
What? Man's tablet can't vibrate?
I mean, it's usually frowned upon.
Even though you're not present for these negotiations, your insight is most needed. Thank you, Aragon and Saphira, for your words of wisdom. Hello, yes, humans. I too am human.
Beep bop boop. I am human, yes.
The mirror went blank as Aragon released the magic holding the contact. The contact? Do you mean the spell? To Nasuda? I never really quite figured out how to pronounce her name. Nasuada? Max? Help here? Pronunciation?
Hang on. Where at?
I mean, I think it's supposed to be like an African name, so...
Yeah, I know.
They're always hard to pronounce. No offense to anyone who's in Africa.
Nasuada,
Is there
I guess?
viewers who I assume is no one, but yeah.
Is the... What?
I'm gonna call her Nasu. Nasu!
Apparently, this is a word on Urban Dictionary.
Of course it is.
Being bad at playing the online game World of Warcraft. It can also be
What?
used as a verb.
Okay,
Fucking excuse me?
You need to calm the fuck down.
Oh, and I love you so much.
And leaned back in his chair. It'd be more like into his chair, but whatever. I had no idea that recovering from a war would take such a long time, considering the fact that Galbatorix reigned for over 100 years. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Galbatorix was literally OP to the point of being just Darth Vader.
Shushu. Saphira commented as she moved from her spot for the first time in an hour. It takes time
Good
for
for
the
you,
fear
girl.
he built around the Urgles and the elves
I'll
to
be back in a
disappear from
moment.
human memories, and Nasu is doing an excellent job in reconnecting them. I just wish that I wasn't stuck here and could fly back to Aglasia. I realize I'm mispronouncing it, but I'm doing it on purpose at this rate, because fuck pronouncing this shit. And knock some peace into the heads of those people. I know you would, little one, but we're needed here to train up our new brethren. Besides, you barely belong there anymore with your powers. Aragon sighed and got up out of his seat, heading towards his balcony. Everything changes with time. Only the elves, dragons, and dragon riders seem to escape its relentless path. He leaned on the railing and looked at the growing city of Briol Abershurtugal.
Nani?
What the fuck?
Nani?
The home of the Dragon Riders. It had been over 30 years since he and his dragon Saphira had left Aglasia in search of new training ground for new order of dragon riders on the relentless wave of the ocean. He, Saphira, and the Alundari and the elves that joined them had hoped to find the old homeland of the elves, Alalia, but upon arrival they had yet to see any evidence of any large city, village, or dwelling. This may have disheartened Aragon, more so for the loss of knowledge where the elves used to live.
Yes.
What the fuck was that noise I heard as I was putting my headphones back on?
That was my reaction to this story.
What the fuck?
What?
I just put my headphone on and it's like, is Sneaky dying? Is he okay? Do I need to call 911?
Sneaky's always dying slowly, so
Indeed.
no.
You're missing me butchering whatever the fuck pronunciations they're trying to make me do.
Ha. Yeah, no, I'm not running consultation on these pronunciation because these are all bullshit.
I'm glad you agree with
It's
me.
Aragon. All the fucking things are bullshit.
No, Ricky, no, this is exceptional bullshit.
Dragon and Ryder officially began teaching during the 5th year after they had arrived. Polak and his dragon Adress had spent the first part of their training with Queen Arya, elf bitch, and her dragon in Dueldenvarden.
Duveldenvarden, maybe? It is Queen Arya.
Ira?
Oh,
Arya, maybe?
I don't fucking know!
elves are being elves, effectively.
Before making the long journey across the sea, and was soon joined by a few more around a year later. Wait, didn't he fucking take all the eggs with him? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he took all the fucking eggs with him. Teaching was an experience in itself. Aragon had to remember what his previous teachers had taught him, as well as integrate the memories from the Lundari. At the beginning, he often thought that Saphira was the better master of her side than he was for his side. The dragons held her in high regard and treated her as the jewel she is, while Aragon was constantly bombarded by questions and alternative solutions by his pupils. But he eventually got into the swing of things. Aragon felt himself collapse in on himself. That's awkward wording. It seems only yesterday that it has been over 10 years since Polak and Adress returned to Aglasia, and now teaching 6 more with 4 soon to join them from Elfbitch. Strange thoughts to be having now, Saphira. Oh, I'm glad we're going full meta. Saphira gently snaked her head out onto the balcony next to him. Why has your mind gone all dark? You know why. You're connected to me constantly. I do, but you have to admit what you're thinking in order to sort out your feelings. Aragon groaned. I just can't believe that Nasu is that old, nor any of my friends who aren't immortal. I still can't believe Ismira is married and that soon I'm going to be a great uncle. I don't even look enough to be a great uncle, while Roran is already sporting graying hair and wrinkles just like Nasu. He put his face into his hands. My world is moving on without me, forsaking me to my endless task of teaching. Saphira snorted. Very meta indeed. A very melodramatic thought indeed. I would have thought you'd gotten over that since that time with the 2 guards. You are right in saying that your world is moving on because your world was a human life. Now that you are a dragon rider, you have left your old world and have entered a new one. The only reason you feel strange is that this world had been extinct for over a century and you have to revive it for others who follow you. Give it some time, little one. You are already making the lives of our pupils that much better because you have welcomed them into this new world with open arms and claws. Alright, so that was chapter 1, in which nothing was accomplished. There is no hook for me to keep reading. There was some melodramatic meta edge, and yeah, no, pretty much I'm just not interested in this story at all.
I don't blame you.
Obviously half-breed means half elf, half human, in this case, I'm assuming. Otherwise they probably would have made a bigger deal over it. I'm not really interested in reading to see what happens with the half-breed at all. I'm not really interested in seeing what kind of special power is that set Aragon apart from everyone else. I'm not interested. There's nothing in this first chapter that made me go, oh, I want to read more. On top of that, Saphira, from what I remember, is incredibly out of character. Aragon is in character because he's still being a melodramatic bitch. Yeah. We're done. Move on. Let's see. I'll wait for Atin to come back before I start a Ruby story. You know Legend of Zelda, right?
Yeah, why?
Alright, we're doing Heroes of Azeroth then.
Oh, fucking lord.
Why?
'Cause the party must go on.
No, it doesn't. Party does not need to go on.
Alright, as always, I've linked the story into the description down below in case you wish to follow along yourself or read the story yourself.
Just make sure to have a nice drink in hand.
So as always, yes, Chrysanthemum, you are late! How dare you! But no, seriously, it's fine. You haven't missed much. Yeah, you didn't miss much. Basically, generic shit Left 4 Dead story, generic shit Left 4 Dead crossover story, generic shit Aragon story. You haven't missed much. We're getting into a Legend of Zelda Warcraft crossover story right now, so prepare your panties and your pantaloons, because this shit's about to get real. And by real, I mean real bad. As I said before, this is a Legend of Zelda World of Warcraft crossover, called the Hero of Azeroth. Link is the legendary hero of time who has saved Hyrule many times, but now he needs to rise up and save another world. After a strange occurrence, he finds himself in Quail Thalas, and little does he know of the dangers that lie ahead.
Alright, question. Is this specified as adult or child Link?
It's teen, and it says Link times Sylvanas, so I'm assuming adult. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad? Well, I'll let you figure that out for yourself, as I am not one to tell people how to think.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
What's up, my cool, kooky friends? Welcome to my newest fanfiction. The idea came to me a long time ago, and I've recently been inspired to finally post it. This story will take place before the undead's invasion of Quel'Thalas. Not like the day before, but no more than 3 months. Also, Link is based off his Ocarina of Time character model, and will also have all the items from Ocarina of Time. For his voice, I usually think of Typon from DBZ.
Oh god, that's actually how it's written. Oh god, that's actually how it's written.
But sometimes he will speak through facial expressions and body motions, and even though he has a set voice, his grunts and yells are the same in OOT. Also, the units won't be gender specific, meaning there can be female swordsmen and male sorcerers. How will Link affect the events of Warcraft, and will he ever return home? A. No. Female swordsmen weren't a thing, really, in majority, at all, because, you know...
But my gender pronouns.
Female? And male sorcerers were called wizards. So...
But my gender pronouns.
You clearly don't know Warcraft, Mr. I'm gonna write a Link story. I love how every single Warcraft crossover author forgets those games and lore before Warcraft 3. Yeah, well, you know how it is. A lot of them weren't old enough to play those games.
Don't you know anything after or before World War Warcraft 3 doesn't exist? Because that's when Dota started.
Indeed. Chapter 1! Shitty cliche title! It had been a few years since Ganondorf tried to take over Hyrule. His plan almost worked, but it failed in the end. No fucking shit. He didn't count on Link becoming such a threat. Link was an 18-year-old Hylian? Anyone want to help me out here?
No.
Okay. Good. Max? He has abandoned us as well. Excellent. Understandable.
I'm not reading the story for you.
He was a descendant of the legendary hero who shared his name, because he was destined to become a great hero himself. Upon pulling the legendary Master Sword out of the pedestal of time, he was able to challenge and defeat Ganondorf once and for all. He still kept all of the items he had gained over the journey, and the Master Sword was safely strapped to his back. Now the noble hero spent his days in peace, taking time to appreciate Hyrule more.
Except he got rid of all his stuff. Because Hyrule was safe, and he just left the Master Sword there. And he didn't have all his items. Author, have you actually played Ocarina of Time? Because I don't think you have.
Yeah, no, I don't think he has either. But who knows? Maybe the author will commit more egregious sins. Nobody knows. Now,
he was ready for sins.
Now the noble hero spent his days in peace, taking the time to appreciate Hyrule more. The more he explored, the more good he felt inside. The more good he felt inside. As in, Kugel brings up a fairly good point. He does, in fact, even return the, Kokiri sword. Who the fuck's asking me? Well, why? Well, delete.
What? What happened?
Nothing. Nothing happened. Ignore it. In order to save Hyrule, he needed to go to every single corner of the land. And he almost always had to help out the people that were there. It was a chance to meet them and get to know their ways. In the end, he always received nothing but kindness for his services. Sometimes it was nice to stay in that area and enjoy himself for a little while. Lake Hylia? Am I saying that right?
Lake Hylia, yeah.
Looked beautiful during the sunrise, and fishing was only sometimes frustrating. Atop Death Mountain, you need a comma there, Link could see all of Kakariko in the distance. It was quite a sight to behold. Even after saving the world from evil, there was still trouble being caused. Just the other day, he had to stop bandits from robbing Lon Lon Ranch. It wasn't too difficult for him, and Talon rewarded him with free milk. It wasn't like he was expecting a sack full of rupees or anything like that, but the milk he received wasn't the freshest it's ever been. Luckily, if one could say that, he did receive another reward. It came in the form of a kiss on the cheek from Melon herself. The hero of time ended up leaving the ranch with a huge blush.
And anything else? Where'd you get the milk from? Oh, I'm gonna stop.
That would be appreciated.
Yeah.
Even after saving the world... After that incident, he traveled to Kakariko Village to stay in the inn. Parentheses, I'm not sure if it's an inn, but it's the place Talon slept in while you're an adult. Why is that in parentheses? Why are you talking? Why are you author noting? Cease! He slept comfortably for about 12 hours. He awoke the next day with a big yawn. That might have been the best sleep I've ever had, he thought to himself as he got out of bed and donned his Kokiri tunic and boots. Link walked out of the building and was heading for the potion shop. He was going to fill up his empty bottles before leaving. He turned right and went up the stairs, then he went up the next set of stairs and then entered the potion shop. Wow, so exciting. I'm glad you described him walking upstairs. Riveting story. Do you not agree, no sir?
Yes, this is the most riveting story. I've almost fallen asleep while playing Dragon Quest while listening to this.
The man behind the counter smiled as he watched a familiar customer approach. What will it be, Link? 2 red, 2 green potions? Yes, please. He reached into his very deep item pouch. Very deep.
Get a fucking blue potion, you Jew.
And pulled out his empty bottles. He then handed them to the man. He watched as the store owner poured the respective potions into each bottle. With each bottle full, the man handed them back to Link. That will be 90 rupees. The hero reached into his wallet, which was conveniently located next to his item pouch, and gave the man 1 purple rupee and 2 red rupees. Thank you, come back again soon.
Thank you, come again.
Potion seller, I am going into battle and I require your strongest potions.
I am Apu. I do not know what you mean by battles and potions.
Wow, you fucked that shit up, boy. You fucked that up, and we're all disappointed in you now.
I'm gonna go commit seppuku. Bye. Bye, chat.
Are you two having fun?
No.
Yes.
This is really interesting to listen to you just slowly losing all hope.
I've just started to be a poo, alright? As a shopkeeper. Also, this derail count is not accurate.
We actually really haven't derailed, though. Maybe like twice at best.
I think the biggest
Still not
derail we
accurate.
had was at the beginning. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, Sneaky, we have seen this author a couple of times outside of the stream. That was about it.
And even then, it was still kind of on topic. Anyway, farewell, Link, Anju said as she waved to him. He smiled and then continued on with his business. Link walked down the stairs to Hyrule Field, but once he left the village, things took a dark turn. Right away, Link could tell something bad was happening. So descriptive. He caught sight of the huge, swirly storm in the middle of the field. Oh man, these adjectives!
I'm sorry, no,
These
hang on.
adjectives.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Is that swirling or swirly?
Swirling.
Swirling. At least it wasn't swirling.
It seemed to be expanding in size. Oh. And it also shot out several lightning bolts.
Sneaky, stop. You're starting to make me uncomfortable.
The courageous hero had never seen or heard of anything like this before, and the winds in the desert Colossus were pretty bad, but they never did anything like this. This is bad! He thought to himself as the now tornado started moving towards the castle. This author is just a maestro with words.
Noticed.
Thinking quickly, he started running towards it. He hadn't any idea of how to fight off a tornado, but he would give it his best shot. Just blade spin in the opposite direction, of course.
That's how that works, right?
As Link came into a good distance, he pulled out his bow and arrow. Oh my fuck. Do not shoot at the tornado!
Why not? Seems like the best idea you could have.
With some mental chanting, the arrow tip glowed blue. After a few seconds, the ice arrow was shot into the storm. The arrow didn't do anything.
Color me
Trying to
surprised.
freeze the tornado didn't work. It seemed like a good plan, though.
I don't know about good plan.
Who the fucking hell looks at a tornado and goes, "Ah, yeah, you know what? I could freeze that."
Jackracket.
Okay, Jackracken is not an acceptable answer.
Mr. Freeze.
Tonight's forecast. A freeze is coming.
Are you okay, Sneaky?
I've had
Let's
enough of your
get
shit.
some ice.
How about Invoker? Invoker, try it.
No, he would probably just cast another tornado at it.
So someone would
Wix,
have to
cross
reject
Wix.
it, like Crystal Maiden, right?
Crystal Maiden would probably just cry. She sees tornadoes coming at her often enough.
Well, now I just feel bad.
Anyway.
Yes, continuing.
Link was
on.
now trying to think of another plan, but he was thinking the tornado was... But as he was thinking, the tornado was pulling him towards it. The courageous hero tried to resist, but it didn't... tried to resist! The winds were too strong. We're just like, no, I won't move! Like, were you even if you were holding on to something, fucking describe him holding on desperately to something. Like, he tried to resist. It felt like them saying he tried to resist, to me, in my mind, brings to mind Link just like trying to walk the opposite direction or something.
I think my biggest issue here is he started running towards it. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think was going to happen if the arrow didn't work, mate? Link isn't stupid. Stubborn. Never stupid.
I don't know. The Zelda TV show seems to think otherwise.
That TV show is not
We don't
canon.
talk about that TV show.
Oh, no, we talk about the TV show. It is hilarious to watch, but that show is, for all intents and purposes, not canon. Except maybe with, what was it, Zelda's Adventure? Was it Link 2 or Link 3?
Actually, technically, the entire CDI library is canon to that.
Oh, God. Anyway.
Granted, we still don't consider the CDI canon stories canon anyway, so.
But anyway, blah 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 blah. He's in a tornado. The hero was gone, so he got sucked up by a tornado and it teleported him to a new world. Blah blah blah. The hero was gone. Everyone searched for him. No one could find him. Everyone was sad. Blah blah blah. Thanks to Zelda, he would not be forgotten. Blah blah blah, High Elf Village, blah blah blah, watching the entrance, blah blah blah, Silver Moon City, blah blah blah, most beautiful city in
There doesn't seem to be
Azeroth.
much substance to this story.
There isn't, really. Blah blah blah, it was nighttime and the elves went to bed, some were drunk, people were sleeping and people were awake, guards were watching. There was watchtowers, guards were in the watchtowers, watching for dangers. Boy, isn't Night Watch boring. He droned as he sharpened his arrows. Who the fuck does that?
Many people, apparently.
Okay, the fact that your arrows need sharpened kind of worries me, mate.
The fact that your arrows need sharpening while you're on watch worries me.
Like, did you not think you were gonna go on watch or something that night?
Could somebody court-martial this guy for dereliction of duty?
I don't know if that's technically allowed.
The sorceress scoffed, don't defend them off an army, don't tell me you wouldn't be excited to be attacked. They both shouted no and laughed. Night went on, nothing happened, two women shared idle conversation. The male elf sharpened his arrows, he hoped something would happen, so it wouldn't be boring. Position as a guard, what's up, listen. Blah blah blah, there's a sound, we should check it out, but should we leave the tower unguarded? Nah, nothing ever happens, let's go check it all out together, and not tell anyone. Blah blah blah, we're gonna go search for it.
Best plan.
They scanned the landscapes, blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. As they went out here, the troll suddenly attacked them, and they smirked at each other. To nobody's
surprise.
And they killed the troll. And then they smirked at the troll being dead. They kept searching the area. Oh, okay, so Link was on the ground, and the troll was gonna kill Link. And then they surprised the troll and killed the troll. Blah, blah, blah. They had to watch out for people trying to chop down their trees. They're taking Link back. Help you guys. A friend here needs help. They put him in the inn. Weird looking shield, never seen it before. He's got the elves of he's got the ears of an elf. There we go. I was about to say he got the elves of the ears. Oh boy, this story is just fucking peak quality.
Peak autism.
Yeah. Blah blah blah. Golden gauntlets. Why would he only wear armor on his hands? Maybe he wants to be agile. We should get a priest over here to heal him. Well, at least he was injured by the tornado. Blah blah blah. The elf heals him. He should be all better. They all nod and move on with their lives. Wow, again, completely boring chapter.
Riveting story.
Absolutely boring chapter. And I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it, and I'll say it again and again and again. You have to have your first chapter make people want to read the rest of your story. So far, I am bored out of my fucking mind. Now, I will compromise here and say that if I was looking for a what happens if Link is in World of Warcraft story, and I found this, I would probably continue to read it. Because there's no real grammar issues, there's no real spelling issues, it's just written adjectiveless, passive voice, it's boring, the characters are meh. Literally the only reason why I would ever read future chapters of this story is because I was interested in the idea, and that is not what you want to base your story around. You do not want people to only read your story because they're like, you're the only author that wrote this!
Because as soon as another author writes it better, they'll all go to that author.
Yep.
A Warcraft story, Warcraft crossover is always this cancerous, or is it just a coincidence? I have I have around 900 favorited stories at this point on fanfiction.net, I think. And like 5 of them are Warcraft crosses. Or less. You gotta keep in mind the main audience of Warcraft these days, which is,
10-year-olds.
Not between 10 and 15, and so their writing ability isn't going to be the highest of tier, and they're...
Okay, hold on. Let's be clear. It's not like...
Also, you're super quiet, Atin.
God damn it. Let me see if it turned me down.
Make sure to check your actual mic.
Yeah,
again.
I know. I've been through this whole bullshit before.
Yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, the first chapter, well, nothing was wrong with it per se. It was not interesting. It didn't make me want to go
Yeah,
further.
boring.
Yes, it somehow got turned all the way down to 45.
Wow.
Good
XD.
Warcraft. Unfortunately, good Warcraft crossovers. I don't know of any that are completed and or currently running still. I knew of a few good Warcraft crossovers, but those stories are all currently dead, and they're also only Harry Potter as well. So far, the only stories that I've seen not be absolute garbage for Warcraft crossovers have been Harry Potter. And I think that's just because the people that are typically in the Harry Potter genre are actually good at writing sometimes.
Emphasis on sometimes.
So, what have I missed?
You've missed
Cancer.
nothing. You've missed boring stories. You've missed cliche, boring stories that I really
You've
couldn't
missed
even get
actual
angry
cancer.
over. Like
I was
they
gonna
were
say, just more disappointment.
they were just meh. The characters were the plot was There was no real grammatical or spelling errors with any of them. They were just
They're just not interesting.
Yeah, haven't even been able to rant. Like, we had a bit of a rant earlier when it came to Left 4 Dead, because the both Left 4 Dead stories we were talking about ended up having the authors think that the green flu killed people and reanimated them as zombies. But, even though that's what sets Left 4 Dead apart from every other zombie.
Is that it's not zombies.
Yeah.
No, it's not zombies. It's just really angry humans.
Okay, let's see here. Let's end the day with an Elder Scrolls Warcraft cross. That's probably gonna be crap.
Oh, no, it's gonna be fucking garbage.
Why are you making us read this again?
Because it's Friday the 13th.
Okay, but then shouldn't we be reading a bunch of Jason stories?
No. That's what everyone expects us to do.
So next week's all the Jason stories.
Do any of us actually have in-depth knowledge of the, like, 15
No, I
plus
don't think-
movies?
No.
I don't think any of us
No,
do.
none of us
No.
do, no.
So maybe we should.
Well, I guess you have your weekend homework.
I'm celebrating my grandmother's birthday, so I won't even be home, and I'm not even not even taking
Then
my
you're gonna
laptop
watch
with
them
me.
with her.
Anyway,
She is a 90-year-old woman with heart problems.
perfect.
I bet she can take it too. Just tougher than you.
Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, no, unfortunately, we haven't even gotten a story today that made me go, oh, I want to rant about this. I mean, sure, we had that little tiny mini rant early on with Left 4 Dead, but that was barely even a rant. It was just,
It's like it's not even like fun to read trash. It's just
yeah,
boring
it's
trash.
just boring, bland. There's no real problems with it, but it's not interesting trash.
trash.
God, have we entered the young adult section?
Oh no.
Oh no.
No.
Do not make us enter that dark place.
Anyway, this is a Warcraft Elder Scrolls crossover, specifically Skyrim. As always, it's going into the Discord, which can be found in the panels in the description. So let's begin. Askew in the world of Warcraft, an orc, a dragonborn from Skyrim, is taken out of retirement inadvertently and thrown onto Azeroth. Not into Azeroth, he was literally thrown on top of the planet.
Yeah, oh, Sneaky, Chrysanthemum wants us to... Tell you what, Chrysanthemum, if we ever do a young adult thing, you'll get to guest star. We'll kick Nosehair out and we'll bring you in.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
Do,
Thanks.
Do you really... how much do you have to say about young adult novels, Nosehair?
A bit.
A bit.
A
versus
bit.
someone who's got much.
Yes.
All right. Fair enough.
If you want action, a little bit of humor, and orc-on-orc violence, you might just like this story. Prologue!
Work violence. We can't report about that.
Don't.
Alright, so,
Don't.
I do want to talk about this. Someone asked me earlier in another chat with writing help, if they should do a prologue or not. And I told them that prologues are a coin flip, I guess you could say. Would you guys agree with that? In that it could either make you read the story or make you hate the story?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. A prologue, for me, is no different than chapter 1. It's just chapter 1, only, hey, there's some important stuff we need to set up before we go to chapter 1. It's like, all right, maybe sometimes it's important information about whatever the world might be, in which case then it's the author's job to make the world interesting and also not make an info dump.
Yeah, prologues only work if they establish a mystery or world build or something like. I said my answer to them, and so correct me if you find a problem with it. My answer to them was prologues only really work if you are crafting them into an extremely good hook to make them read the story.
Yes, I agree with that. The prologue is there to be a hook.
Like you've said, I've seen some people try and use prologues as chapter 1, and it doesn't work. Because prologue isn't chapter 1. Prologue is there to set the world up, to
this
hook
is something
people
important
in.
that needs to be set up.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be.
It is there to be its sole purpose of a prologue is to hook someone into a story using mystery or world building or an interesting character that you can focus solely on. And it might not be relevant to the main plot in terms of the character you are featuring or the world building you are doing isn't immediately relevant to the character in chapter 1.
Yeah, like for instance, I just finished reading a book called Malazan, Book of the Fallen. Not sure if I like it yet. It's weird. Like, I'm all the way through the book and I'm still not sure if I liked it. Because they don't. It's a very long series and they don't tell you a lot of stuff, but you get the sense that it's because they want to tell you this stuff later when it will be more important. They're like, look, we're busy focusing on the characters right now. There's all this other stuff that you don't know anything about, but that's because you don't really need to know about it right now.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Acceptable.
But for the prologue, it starts with this person in a fishing village, and there's stuff going on, and literally, that stuff isn't relevant until about, I would say, 3/4 of the way through the book. Now, when you find that stuff out, you're like, this 5 or 6 different things click into place, and you're like, this all makes sense. But because of the way they wrote the prologue, I was like, what the hell is going on here? I want to find out. And that got me through most of the book, because I was like, what's going on? Has this connect? So that prologue did its job, and it did its job very well, for me at least. So yeah,
I do think that is another thing I actually do want to quickly talk about before we get into this, is I see a lot of people try to write their stories to appeal to the widest audience possible. You know what I mean by that? Never seen those stories? Yes.
I understand.
Yeah, and that's a failing. Don't do that. Because, as a fanfiction author, you are already niche. It's okay if you go continuously niche in terms of your fanfiction, because you need to write what you're good at writing. Not, if you enjoy writing horror, maybe feel good slice of life isn't exactly going to be your cup of tea. And
I don't know. Lovecraft wrote a few stories like that.
Okay. Lovecraft also did cocaine.
This is true.
I'm not saying this is any sort of clear cut. Maybe you're really good at writing horror. Maybe you're shit at writing action. Maybe you're good at maybe you're okay at writing slice of life and horror, but you're shit at action. So you just write slice of life horror. But
How the fuck does that work? Hold up.
Yeah, no.
How the fuck does that work?
I don't know, paranoia, I guess. Just like, I don't know, fucking. Anyway, my point is that I've seen a lot of authors try to be like, okay, it's going to be an action adventure story, but there's also going to be some horror parts in here, and there's going to be some romance in here, and I think I can shove some slice of life sections into here, and I think I can shove some comedy into here as well. And it's just like, yes, you can have humorous moments, but trying to write sections of your story as comedy?
Yeah. That's something people never seem to understand. There's a difference between comedic relief and writing a comedy. Horror movies have funny moments. Well, some of them do. When a horror movie has a funny moment, it's not because they want to switch gears to a comedy. It's because if people spend the entire movie freaking the hell out, A, most people aren't going to like it, and B, after a while, they're just going to stop reacting to being scared. But when you have moments of normalcy or moments of humor where the audience goes, oh, that's funny, and then you do something horrifying, it's all the more horrifying because they were just feeling happy, and you ruined that.
Like, I've seen some stories do it very well. They're exemplary. Like, one Bleach story it was an action story. It was about action and world building, and they just rolled with it. And yeah, there was some romance in there, but a blurb or two here or there. It was barely focused on their relationships with people. It was just, this is action, this is adventure. We're doing things, we're going places. And yes, there was funny moments. Yes, there was, oh, that's terrible moments. There was, slice of life moments, but it wasn't like, this chapter is going to be slice of life. This chapter is going to be comedy. No. Don't. I've seen authors kill their stories trying to do that. Where they just completely burn themselves out because they're like trying to force comedic chapters instead of like, oh, hey, that's a funny moment.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, and not just that, but it's one of those things like, take for instance, I don't know, let's go with the anime beach episode. Lots of animes have a beach episode.
It's supposed to be a cool down episode.
Yeah.
Should they have a beach episode? Hell no.
Well, I was gonna say, that's the thing. It depends on the story. Because if it's being put in there as a logical point where, okay, we need to let things cool down so that we can let main characters rest up or let important plot development happen afterwards and give an excuse as to why people aren't paying attention to it, then something like a beach episode, even if it's not a beach episode in and of itself, is fine.
Yeah.
But if you're putting it in there to put in the obligatory beach episode and you force it, like Sneaky said, you're going to kill your story because everyone will tell that you're putting it in there because it's forced.
Yeah, and people can, at least me and other people I've talked to, can definitely tell when you're forcing a story or when you're forcing a section of it, where you're forcing like these two people together but you don't know how to write them. People can tell. You may not be able to when you're first reading it after you've written it, because your brain still has all the stuff that's going on in background in your brain that makes it all make sense. But later on when you read it, our story, Max, you go back and go, what the fuck were we thinking?
Just as responsible. You're just as responsible.
I know. I said, what the fuck were we thinking?
Actually, I would say Sneaky's more responsible.
No, Max let it go through. He is just as responsible as I am.
I also did a majority of the writing, so, like, unfortunately, I have to take a lot of flack for it.
Yep.
Anyway. Prologue. If you are looking for a tale of bold adventure, blind optimism, then this is not a story you may enjoy.
I'm already done with this story. Because their prologue isn't a prologue, it's a damn author's note.
Yep.
It's more like a narrator's note, but yeah, I get your point.
Here's the thing, I don't care what it is. This is not what you should be doing with your prologue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can if you're gonna make the narrator, like, part of your story. in sort of like the same way they did with fucking Varric in Dragon Age. Not that I'm saying that it went well. It's a valid
Okay, here's the
method.
thing. But there's a difference between the old man recounting his childhood. This isn't. Oh my god, I can't think.
It's okay,
my
I
God.
believe in you.
No, what was that movie? Fuck, it's so popular. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. The Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride.
Yes. That story has a narrator who is recalling his past.
Alright.
Now, that story is primarily comedic, but it works because they do it from the start. And he consistently chimes in.
Well,
But-
it's also a completely different form of entertainment. Medium it's told through.
Yes,
This is a bad comparison, Atin.
But
It's
what
a
I'm
very
saying
bad
is,
comparison.
here's the problem. We have our prologue opening up with the narrator talking about his life and who he is. But I'm looking through this, and I see nothing else from the narrator. No mention of how the narrator's getting any of this information. Like, because this is the narrator talking about, and here's the very, very end. And now that everything has been said, let me tell you how it all began. I don't know where the author's getting this in from. Okay, so this is taking place in Skyrim. Okay.
I did say that, yeah.
No, I know I know it's a crossover, but
I just, yes, I understand where you're coming from. I just don't like the way they're going about it. I don't have a problem with what they're doing. My problem is how they're going about doing it. It feels janky, I guess is the best way to put it.
yes, that's what I've been trying to get across. It doesn't. This isn't flowing well. Going from the old man recounting what occurred to him not saying anything. Why bother doing this if you're not going to have him chiming in places?
Well, I mean, the other thing you have to keep in mind when you set up a story like this is you have to become the unreliable narrator then. And it is a specific way of writing narration that you have to pay attention to when you're doing it. Because as the unreliable narrator, you can't know everything. And more often than not, people try and be like, oh, it's an unreliable narrator, but it's fucking not. You know, they describe things that other people are doing. When if it's an unreliable narrator coming from the perspective of one person telling the story, then they shouldn't be able to know anything anyone else is doing ever.
The only time they should know that is if they are recounting the story. In which case, like, you know, any moment where this is from someone else's perspective, I'm recounting what they told me.
Yes.
Like,
and I was gonna say, and here's the thing, that needs to be specifically mentioned.
You gotta go full Lemony Snicket, exactly.
To give a good example, one that is actually in the same genre. So there's a series of books called Fred the Vampire Accountant. It's a wonderful comedy series. It's not set in the like Vampire the Masquerade universe, but it has a number of similarities to it, and it's about a guy named Fred who was an accountant and gets turned into a vampire, and he just continues to be an accountant, and it's about what happens to him. It's actually pretty funny. Most of the time because people are like, okay, seriously, what's your play? Why are you pretending to be an accountant? He's like, I'm not pretending. I'm just a goddamn accountant. Leave me the hell alone.
That's good. That's good.
It actually is very funny. I do highly recommend it to everybody. But all of the stories are told from the perspective of Fred. And Fred is telling you about what's going on in his world. And whenever he's getting information from an outside source, it either the author very deliberately changes the style and tone of the writing because they're having it mentioned in the book that I wasn't there, so someone else is going to recount this bit of the story for you, or he very specifically mentions, I wasn't here at the time, here's what I was told. And Fred, as the unreliable narrator, never displays any knowledge at the time that he shouldn't have or that he wouldn't be capable of having. So it's a very good example of the unreliable narrator, and I want to thank both you and Max for getting to the point that I couldn't get out of my words, which was that the unreliable narrator, but then he's somehow gaining all of this information with no mention of how or when or why.
Yeah. But yes, the unreliable narrator is a very tricky thing to do, and it requires very careful attention.
Now, when it's done correctly, it's excellent.
Great. Yeah, when it's done correctly, it's fucking amazing. But
this is true.
Yeah, it's a tightrope. Blah blah blah, Helgen, blah blah blah, headsman block, blah blah blah, banditry, important life lessons, haha, such comedy, wow. I am the Dragonborn, I don't know how to capitalize my eyes.
Why?
I don't care about slavery,
I don't know what that means.
it's slavery. I don't care. I've heard about the Dunmer and their slaving ways, and I don't like it. But much like how our kind was enslaved to Malakath, otherwise something would happen to the strongholds. I piss on the assertion half the time. So it's like, I don't care about slavery too much, but I don't like it, and I think it's dumb. And then I piss on it sometimes, but then I don't, because maybe
if
they're
they
right.
don't care about it, then if you're gonna have them don't care about it, that's fine.
Holy shit, I'm being triggered. I am being triggered by the amount of times they don't fucking capitalize their I.
I've never thought I'd hear that ever.
Seriously, every I is not capitalized. The only I's that are capitalized are the starts of fucking sentences. Blah blah blah, I killed Ulfric, blah blah blah. Money, respect, I killed Alduin and Mirak, blah blah blah, I retired. Stir crazy, listening to girls cry over dolls, feeding mud crabs, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah, my children. Who the
blah blah blah.
What kind of fucking orc names their kids Blaze, Lucia, Sophie, and Elysian?
Okay, to be fair, at least
the
Lucia
edgy 14-year-old.
At least Lucia and Sophia sound like they could actually come from Skyrim.
But orc names?
Remember, the
edgy
Sneaky,
14-year-old.
these are orphaned children.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, it says, and some. Yeah, we were all liking the fact that we were all orphaned, but one thing is true.
Oh, okay, I didn't get to that point yet.
Yes.
We were all orphaned,
as much as I may dislike this author, we can't just go flying off the handle because these aren't actually orc children. This is the standard, the Dragonborn can't get anyone pregnant for whatever reason, so they're just going to adopt every homeless waif in Skyrim. Which, to be fair, I gotta give them credit for that. When I did talk to those small orphan children, specifically the ones that were out on the streets, I was like, I feel genuinely bad for you. I'm going to build a house so that you don't have to live on the street.
Oh, yes, build all the houses, adopt all the children.
Also, have an Adric dagger to murder anyone who comes near you.
Oh, yeah, no, that was my, it's like, what was it? I built my house up in a
more
swamp.
dangerous than the town guards.
Yeah, no, I built the house in my gameplay was the one up near a swamp where undead would occasionally spawn and bandits would come through. So I armed the entire family with Daedric daggers with soul steel on.
XD.
I mean, yes, that was always one thing that I thought was hilarious, because, you give your children a Daedric dagger with, like, 109 damage on it. It doesn't matter they don't have any pointing daggers, it's still, like, 100 damage. Wow, I don't know what happened to my... Yeah, no idea what happened to my, voice there. It's still, like, 100 damage, and you're just like, alright, go on, kids, play nice now. Remember not to kill too many
Let me tell you how
goblins."
it all began.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like, I kind of just imagine. I like thinking about what the different reactions of the spouses as they're watching you teach your children how to effectively kill someone using the practice dummies.
My favorite part will forever continue to be the time that my fucking adopted child ran out and proceeded to do the execution on the dragon that landed. And I was just like, oh,
They grew up so fast.
okay.
Yeah, that's what happened to a master vampire. It was kind of surreal to fast travel back to your house and there's just a master vampire there getting his shit kicked in by 2 young kids.
Kids
And-
are immortal!
Like,
Children are immortal in this game, because fuck you.
I
yeah,
actually
but you have
kind
a
of
weapon and
want...
then how to attack.
I actually kind of want that someone... I don't know if this actually has been a story, but if someone ever finds it, send it to me. I want someone to write a story in which the kids are actually, by decree of the Nine, immortal until they grow up.
Hey, you know what? At least someone's trying to put a reason, as opposed to, Daryl's just fine.
Anyway.
Oh my god, if this fucking cunt crits me again, I swear to fucking god.
Askew in World of Warcraft. Blah blah blah, there's a dragon outside, go get ready. He rushed upstairs and quickly armored himself in padding and Daedric armor. Blah 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 blah. It continues to describe him putting his armor on, grabbing a Daedric longsword and ebony dagger. He rushed out of the room and smashed his fist into a pane of glass and pulled out a steel crossbow. A steel crossbow versus a dragon.
10 out of 10.
Well, no, hang on now. Still crossbows saved my ass against dragons a number of times.
Okay, but that's
in my
video
playthrough.
games.
That's video games.
Aim for the eye.
I'm talking about this shit right here, in which dragons pretty much lorded over all of the mortals because steel did shit to them.
No, the mortals just didn't know how to use steel at them, obviously. Though, you know, Sneaky, you're supposed to throw the crossbow at the dragon's face. They're allergic.
Oh, of course, I forgot that crossbows
yes.
were a thrown weapon.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like the
No,
dragons
the
carry
Dragon
EpiPens
Board taught everyone how to shoot them. Everyone was just using them to throw.
Oh, cool! I got a new ranged weapon. What is it? Hammer.
I'm sorry. I just have this great mental image now of like
The dragon's coming, quick!
they stumble on the Dwemer ruin, and it's a ruined sphere, and they pick up the crossbow on one of the dwarven spheres. They just, don't know how to use it. Clearly don't know how to shoot it. So they start bashing it against things. Turns out
You act
heavy
like that's
metal
not,
is a
you act
great
like that's
blunt
not something
weapon.
that would actually happen.
Well, the issue, Ricky, the issue there is that we know that crossbows were around for quite a while.
Well, it's a
I want to
Bethesda
see.
game.
I want to see a crack fic of this now, where the Dragonborn has to teach everyone how to properly use their weapons, because no one has been using them right.
And quite.
Yes, because
blah blah
because
blah.
none of the
Equip
Nords know how to
steel
use their
bolts.
weapons.
Blah blah blah. Retirement's ending. Blah blah blah. Sappy moment with kids fighting. He's going off to fight a dragon. They're all like, "Oh my god, let's all watch him fight the dragon." He heard something, but that wasn't the dragon language. A giant black dragon with black scales. Yagdrash, Yagadash.
I have no idea.
Yakadash, I think.
Orc bitch felt nothing. Saw something akin to a portal. Flash of white. Lakeview Manor wasn't in Pine Watch anymore. He was now in a forest. So everyone just got the whole fucking plot of land just got teleported into World of Warcraft.
Seems good.
All right,
Yay.
let's go. Thalaris Even Forest. Now that's an elf name, and it makes me want to stab him. So good job, author.
Congratulations, you have correctly done elf names.
Had enough of
You know,
the false
correctly-
rumors.
I don't know why.
What is it about
love that.
Skyrim and being so good at making you realize elves are just a bunch of long-lived jackasses?
I don't know.
Because they're far more about it than other fantasy mediums.
That's true.
This is true.
Like, just straight up, it's like, oh, they live forever. Cool. They don't feel the need to be polite, though. Alright, yeah, I can
Great.
see that.
So
like,
they're
if you
immortal
really look at,
jackasses.
yeah, you know, if
Yes.
you really look at Lord of the Rings, they're actually complete and utter jackasses, but they're more polite.
Okay, no, okay. To be fair,
I wouldn't say they're
the-
polite.
Okay, the
Ricky,
elves do
it-
at least try to get in. Like the, it does. I'm not saying it doesn't take some doing, but they will leave their ivory towers and help people.
Oh, yeah, I know. But at that point, I'm pretty sure they're convinced it would take less effort to just help them than it would to have to fight the fight Sauron on their own after he kills the rest.
I'm not denying that, but at
Like-
least they'll do it.
Like, it almost feels like it would take a lot of effort to rub our, elfishness in their face.
Mm.
We can just tolerate them. As opposed to Elder Scrolls, where they go out of their way just to do.
Max, you okay? You kind of cut out there.
No, I'm good.
Alright. Just making sure.
It's 9:12. Wrap this up.
Yep, I know.
Indeed.
Okay, so blah blah blah, he's going to go check out a magical surge, blah blah blah, did you see something? The hoarse sound of a vile creature. It was the orcs, you heard the orders, find the source of disturbance and bring back news. The war chief. Orcs were after the same thing she was after. Raised their hand in the air, picking out individual targets. Drew her longbow, knocked her arrow, shot the bows. The orcs started to get hit with arrows. Orcs are dying left and right. They had the numerical advantage though. Small skirmishes. The orcs were emerging victorious in every matchup, but it was costing them drastically. Losing lots of men. New being, a new entity. He forced his way between the Horde members and the Night Elves. She saw the armor and assumed he was of fell origin, but there was no fell energy around him. What in the plane of oblivion is going on here? The Horde members, the orcs, simply charged, laughing at their new opponent. Ha 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 ha.
Is this Mandark now?
No.
I believe it is.
No,
No,
they're
Mandark
madly
was
laughing.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Mandark is Eisen. The entity who donned the armor raised their crossbow and loosed a bolt. The bolt flew and impacted the shoulder of the orc. Yeah, blah blah blah. Why did you
And
need
did
to tell us about
absolutely
this armor?
nothing.
Blah blah blah. Dragonborn Grand. So as long as blah 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 collaborating with each other, he could win. Drew his longsword. Blah blah
His enormous
blah.
fiery
Blah
greatsword.
blah blah. Didn't give a fuck about their opinions. They like to challenge him though. He jumped with his sword held high, skewered at the point of his sword. The attack staggered the Dragonborn. Blah blah blah. What idiot leaps into combat? Blah blah blah. Swung an axe at him. Okay, my key thing here is though steel breaks on Daedric in canon.
Horribly.
Like, that was the problem when fighting the Daedra. Was that normal weapons didn't really work against them.
I mean, heck, even in Oblivion, like, you don't fight the Daedra until you've got at least steel or not elf or orc weapons. Like if you go try to fight the Daedra without something at least that powerful, they're gonna laugh at you because they take no fucking damage. They're like a town guard laughing at you.
Man, they are pretty tanky.
Laughs in town guard.
Arrests in town guard.
No,
and this is why I'm kept around on the stream.
That's fine with it, because you know what? At least then, them being incredibly tanky, it's like, well, A, first of all, when you do finally beat them, it helps you feel more like a badass, and B, it's like, oh yeah, everyone's had, this is a problem, because, you know, I went in there with my hunting bow and my iron arrows, and I shot him in the head, and it did 6 damage.
Yeah.
I should leave now. Oh, gee, maybe that's why literal entire towns worth of guardsmen can't do anything about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, so you guys didn't go kill it with iron arrows just for the fuck of it?
No, I can't say I ever did.
Okay, here's the thing. You can't, I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying it's very hard.
Yeah,
and that's supposed to be the point.
Lucky for us, apparently everything except the main character is incredibly stupid when it comes to basic observational skills.
Yes, we know.
Okay, look, that's long been a problem of the Elder Scrolls.
Anyway, so blah da blah da blah. Hastily stepped on top of the axe. Blah blah blah. Opponent was armored, assumed the sword. Throw slinging sword into people's necks. He's killing people and they're bleeding everywhere. No, Daedric weapons cut through steel as well. Like, don't be like, oh, because of the angle and the force involved, the chains, the chainmail broke, allowing the weapon to pierce through. No, it fucking cuts that shit. Like, there's a reason why there wasn't many Daedric weapons. Like, ignoring what happens when you get to, like, level 60 or something in the game, and everyone starts showing up with Daedra armor. Like, there's a reason why, canonically, no one has Daedric weapons or armor.
Well, A, because you need the heart of a Daedric to get them.
Which is very difficult, yeah.
I mean, hell, I remember back when I was playing it when I was playing Skyrim, actually playing it, and I didn't want to use console commands and stuff like that, I remember I was like, alright, I've got half a set of Daedric stuff, and I've got a Daedric bow and a Daedric sword, but I really need to finish the shield, and the chest, and the legs, and I remember going to literally every alchemist shop I could find, just hit them all up. No, Daedric hearts, no, okay, I'm just gonna set the time forward a week, let them refresh their stuff.
Yeah, no, like,
Daedric
they
hearts,
are very rare. You're better off just forging. Like, even on top of that, very few people canonically have ebony armor.
Mm-hmm.
Which is part of the process of making Daedra. Like, very few people had ebony. Like, the armor, like, everything beyond, orcs obviously had orcish armor, and elves obviously had elven armor, easily. But, like, everything beyond steel for anyone but those races was very rare. Very rare.
Yes.
And which is why I get angry at. It's why one of the reasons why I don't read too many Skyrim and Oblivion in general Elder Scrolls stories, because the authors always like remember the games and are like, oh, you know, everyone had access to this stuff, and it's just like, no, not really, no. Also, you know, smithing techniques, and not many people lived long enough to become that good of a smith.
Yeah. How is this still going?
How is what still going? This story?
Yeah, the stream.
Oh, that's because we keep
Oh,
going.
because people keep watching it, apparently.
Blah blah
And we're still
blah,
talking.
he's killing orcs, blah 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 blah. Do you know nothing of combat? More insults. I always love talking during combat. That's what happens when you're fighting people.
Okay, now to be fair, there have been times when people have spoken during combat, but it's very, very rare. In 99 out of 100 situations where you're fighting someone to the death, it's not going to be talking. It's going to be grunting. It's going to be grunts of exertion and possibly expletives when you get hit.
So blah blah blah.
And
Blah
for
blah
the
blah.
record, I blame
More
Emily
stabbing
for
of the people. Blah blah blah. They're beating up the Dragonborn with blunt. You kick the guy in the testicles. How funny. Punching the orc to death. 2 more orcs charged in with blah blah blah. Yotor Shul. He burned them all to death. Moment too soon. Saw his adopted son behind him. My head's killing me. All the kids came out and gathered around them. There's wood elves around us. Take a step closer, lose your heads. They lowered their... Oh! Are you ready, kids?
Oh.
If you thought this wasn't a YA novel, get ready! Because their eyes of the women folk were a stunning blue.
And we're done.
Ta-da! We can leave.
We've hit peak YA.
Oh.
Blah blah blah, blah blah blah, they're talking to each other. Sentinels, blah blah blah, Orzamer. Where's Orzamer? Where's my map? Orc, he's an orc. What in the 9 Divines is that for? The kids were laughing at his attempt to abort his cursing. Let me come to my home. We'll all heal up and then try to kill each other later. Why are you calling us Bosmer Dunmers? It's because you act like a Bosmer and look like a Dunmer. Blah blah blah, and we are night elves, never heard of night elves, and for some reason I forgot how to capitalize I again!
You really are upset about this.
I am very upset about this! Blah blah
I think
blah.
Sneaky's just looking for reasons to be mad now.
Blah blah blah, Daedric and dragons, blah blah blah, we're talking to each other still, blah blah blah. I built this house, you built this house, I built this house. Now blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blood flakes. Apparently he got injured even wearing full Daedric armor.
How, though?
I don't know.
Also, because here's the thing. You're in World of Warcraft now. This is about numbers. And I got news for you. The numbers on Daedric, way off the charts for anyone that isn't Thrall or Jaina. Or someone of similar caliber.
It doesn't have to be World of Warcraft. It can just be the lore of World of Warcraft. It's not the game, I would hope.
I know, but joking aside, even
know.
if it's just the lore World of Warcraft, the level of power displayed by Daedric weapons and armor is still outside the range of, like,
Standard orc grunt with a axe.
Azeroth.
Yes, yeah, it's far outside the
It's like
standard orc grunt.
It's basically
you're gonna
like
be needing the Doomhammer here.
Like you have like one carry with like a bunch of items versus like a team that has a bunch of stuns effectively.
Anyway, that is it for today. We will see you all
So
Tuesday. Well, Atin's not going to be joining us Tuesday, so it'll be me here Tuesday. Maybe Max will
I'll be
here
Tuesday.
Oh, you will be?
I told you, I'm only there. I am there for 32 hours before I leave.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so then you'll see the whole crew on Tuesday, probably, hopefully, maybe, if Max joins us. Anyway, so closing statements. Right, I didn't do the disclaimer earlier, so, disclaimer, don't contact the people we feature. That'd be bad for us, so don't do that. It's
also bad for them, so just leave them the hell alone.
If you want to catch more of this,
criticism,
trust me, it's better. It gets better No, it doesn't get better, but we're better on other days. And we're more humorous, because we get more humorous stories to rant and rave at. If you want to catch us live, it's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays and Tuesdays. GMT -6 if you're not in America. If we have a Discord,
I think we're currently GMT -5, I thought.
No, we're still -6. I looked it up. Unless we've moved an hour forward already. Anyway, as I was saying.
No, we're still GMT -5. We should be at least.
Google said we were -6. Anyway, if you want to catch an archived version of this and or any of our other previous 75 podcasts, you can find that on the YouTube link down in the panels below. If you feel like joining us for the after hours, you can join us on the Discord, which is also found in the panels and or description down below. I don't think I have anything else to say. No, that's about it. So, everyone have a good night. It's gonna be a shitty one, probably, because you're here and you watch this. Anyway, so, as always, there's always more and it always gets worse, so check in on Tuesday.